Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kova Temple podcast. My name is Aaron, and I'm here to discuss things that are on my mind. Some people might say that I don't have a mind to have things on, but I mostly disagree. This is the first episode of the Kova Temple podcast, so big welcome to everyone. Someone advised me that not to fear being bad in the beginning and just go for it. So I will. Brace yourselves. Today's topics: the hostage situation, falafel for Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, and Fran Drescher, what I consider to be truly great performers, B. Arthur and Carol Burnett, Israeli music is great, Kate Bush, Roger Waters, a death of a good friend, the Ten Commandments, this week in history, artificial intelligence and Elon Musk, and finally, if we have time, a parting joke. Well, 101 children, women, and men are still being held captive in Gaza by Hamas and other terrorist organizations, some of which we actually don't know who is holding them. Definitely not where, and that's quite a concern. Negotiations are ongoing, and let's hope and pray that a breakthrough will happen very, very soon. One thing I wanted to talk about regarding the whole envelope surrounding the hostage situation, and specifically about the hashtag Bring Them Home. I think that Bring Them Home puts pressure on the Israeli government or the IDF or an external force to bring them home, and I think that the hashtag Let Them Go is a more powerful, I should say, I don't want to say slogan, but yeah, that's the slogan. Let Them Go would be a more appropriate thing to say, because that puts pressure on the people that are actually holding them. And I think that it would also bring a new message into the situation. Speaking of the hostage situation, still, I recently read that Barbra Streisand recommended watching the Nova documentary We Will Dance Again. But to be honest with you, I did expect something more substantial and concrete than just a statement. Something like actually coming to Israel to shed a spotlight on the whole situation to the world. I mean, if someone like Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, and Fran Drescher would come to Israel, it would really put a spotlight on the hostage situation and maybe put a little bit more pressure. Anything will help. I mean, Seidenfeld and some others did it too, so why can't they? And whether or not they excuse their absence of support because it is that the current Israeli government is conservative or it has deeply right-wing elements, it's still no reason, I believe, to turn your back on the hostages. Not that it's turning your back on it, I shouldn't say that, but it's not making it first and foremost issue on the news, and I think it should. Many of the hostages are young women, and I think it would really help if big names like Streisand and Midler and Drescher would come to Israel, and let's say that we're all in this together, aren't we? We're all in this together. So I invite Barbara, Bette, and Fran to Israel. The falafel is on me. Speaking of great performers, I have this theory of what a great performer is. Well, it's an opinion anyway. I think that a great performer is someone who does drama, comedy, dancing, and singing, and does them all very well. If that performer also writes or directs and choreographs, that makes him like a superstar, in my opinion. There are some Israeli performers, at least Israeli Jewish performers, who are really good, but there's only one that really sticks to mind, and that's Nikki Kam. I really believe that she's a really uh, good actress in comedy and drama. She dances and she sings and does them all very well, and very few Israeli performers can do that. I might be putting myself in hot water here, but anyway, I don't think that Nikki Kam has received the best roles for her. She has a lot more to do in her career, I believe. Um, the quality of shows today, in general, especially comedy and, and comedic actors, I mostly enjoy sitcoms from the 70s and 80s, which probably dates me, but I really think that was the heyday of sitcoms in the world, actually. And today it seems like they are far and few between. Everything is being rehashed, and in Israel, it's quite the same. I don't know how to say it. It could be a little bit controversial what I'm saying, and I might lose a couple of friends over this. But from the entertainment viewpoint, I kind of feel sorry for people who just made Aliyah, especially from America and the Western world, where they have big productions in Broadway and Hollywood and all those big productions of musicals and dramas and comedies and dance, and Israel doesn't have so much of that, and I want to encourage Israel to create more of that, to invest more in all in all in all arts, but especially in performers like stage performances and movies. And I guess I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. It's not. I mean, I've lived in Canada and America for many years, and I know the depth and the breadth of entertainment there is taken much more seriously. And well, actually, the current situation in America and the rest of the English-speaking world is, I think, is suffering. Um, a lot of ideas are being rehashed. Just look at Hollywood and Disney films. Everything is being redone and rebooted, and um, and I think people, whoever they are up there, should bring in new blood and new ideas. Um, and as far as Israel is concerned, and I'm going to get really into real hot water here. I think that in many Israeli TV shows, especially sitcoms, it looks like the actors are still in rehearsal. And also, their facial expressions are taken directly from American shows, including the plots. And in facial expressions, I mean like those embarrassed, like facial expressions of embarrassment, and Israelis don't behave like that. Israelis are not embarrassed. All right, so that kind of um, facial expressions don't fit into Israeli, um, plays or you know um, movies and television shows. Anyway, that's that's one thing. And speaking of sitcoms, do you remember the sitcoms Maude? Maude is probably my favorite sitcom ever. It's very smart and very funny. I encourage you to look up a Maude episode called Vivian's First Funeral to see a really clever comic storyline. Vivian, by the way, was played by Rumi Clanahan, which later on was Blanche on Golden Girls. And B. Arthur is another is another. I'm looking at the time here. It's been 11 minutes and 19 seconds into this, and we're into B. Arthur. To me, B. Arthur is one of the most multi-talented actresses. She also did comedy and drama in a very entertaining way, and she sings and dances. But my favorite actress is Carol Burnett, I should say. Um, Carol Burnett practically did it all: comedy, drama, singing and dancing, and all of it she did very well. Some of you may know her from her Carol Burnett show that ran for 11 seasons. And every season, every week, you would have a new um, set of skits. And sometimes the skit was the whole show. And she depicted so many characters over 11 years that I don't think any other actress has done that. So many different characters, dramatic and mostly comic, for 11 seasons. And so to me, she makes the best actress, at least my favorite actress, Carol Burnett is. If you saw her send-up of the Gone with the Wind, called Went with the Wind, and Cinderella Gets It On, they are examples of some of the best comedy moments in TV history, in my humble opinion. And I know that Carol Burnett is a friend of Julie Andrews, and that's another great actress who can do practically everything and anything. I think that she has a great voice, and she also sings just beautifully, emotionally, and has a good comic timing and good in drama, and she dances too. Yeah. So that's about it about entertainment. If you are an Oleh Chadash or Ola Chadasha and you miss the American music, well, I'll tell you something. Israeli music is wonderful. It is great. One thing you won't miss, if you missed all your good shows and your movies and your stage plays, I can understand that. But one thing you won't miss, you won't lose out on, is music. Here in Israel, the music stands right up there with any nation on the planet. The lyrics, the melodies, the arrangements, and the performances are top notch. I just love Israeli music. And by the way, just to mention that I have a Kovet Temple Music YouTube channel, and if you want to, you can go there and listen to Israeli music that I have translated into English, and I think you will enjoy them. If you don't know these names already, I highly recommend that you get to know them right away. And these are some of the best Israeli singer-songwriters, which are right up there in the top of the world. Um, and and listening to them, I'll say their names soon. Some of them, there's so many, I can only say some of them. But not only will you enjoy superb music, you will get to know and learn really Israel's history through the lyrics. And I think you'll benefit from that. So here are some of the names that I like. Naomi Shemer, a lot of you probably know that. Her, Yair Rosenblum, Norit Hirsch, Shmuli Kraus, Shlomo Arzi, Monia Merilio, Mati Kaspi, Tzvika Pik, Aviv Geffen, Idain Rachel, and Shalom Chanoch. Monia Merilio is actually just a songwriter. He doesn't sing, but I just wanted to mention him because he wrote some of the most beautiful music, and there's so many other names that I just don't have time to name them. So why do I like these artists? Because they write, compose, sing, and play instruments, and have an incredible repertoire of songs. They sing and have written for others. Aviv Geffen is probably Shlomo Chanoch's successor, and I think Shlomo Chanoch is to be Israel's most talented singer-songwriters, and Naomi Shemer. I consider them top because they do everything from singing to writing to composing to playing the instrument. Okay, and if you want to listen to them, I recommend that you listen to 103 FM. That station plays, I'm not affiliated with them, by the way. 103 FM plays Israeli music every Shabbat, commercial free, or you can download the 103 FM app if you are Shomer Shabbat. If you download the app, you go to the page where it says Shabbat Ivrit. There you'll be able to get your fill of really great musical entertainment. Speaking of another amazing singer-songwriters, my favorite, Kate Bush. And there's good news from Kate Bush. I read in a CNN Entertainment article that Kate Bush has said that she is very keen to start working on a new album, in a revelation that will be met with huge excitement by their legions of fans. And that's me. I'm not a legion, but I am a fan. I went to listen to the BBC podcast and I listened to the entire interview. She is great. I just love her. She's so sweet and gentle, and she has opinions about the world we live in, and she expresses them beautifully in her songs. In the interview, she indeed mentioned the conflicts around the world and said she is working on an animated video that should be out very soon, and I'm really, really looking forward. It's about war children, and she's using the image of shrew to depict something. I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to it. I've been a Kate Bush fan since I first heard her song Wuthering Heights on the radio when I was a kid. It's dating me again. And Kate released her last studio album in 2011, so it's about time, and it's really good news for me. She writes, talking about multi-talented performers, she writes, she sings, she plays the piano, dances, choreographs, produces, arranges, and even acts in her own videos. And no wonder she's my favorite artist of all time. There's a song called Army Dreamers that is very apt to our times. There's so many conflicts in the world, so unnecessary, really unnecessary. Live and let live, people, you know. So, and in Israel, by the way, that's our motto. I believe live and let live, love and let love, you know. So, if rather than um, try and fight it, just accept it and be who you are, you know. Um, so from Kate Bush, we're going to Roger Waters. Now, there is a connection there because in Pink Floyd, David Gilmour was a part of Pink Floyd with Roger Waters, and Pink Floyd, David Gilmour was the one who kind of found out and exposed Kate Bush to the world, and I'll be forever grateful to him. So I want to talk briefly about Roger Waters, his behavior, and his statements about Israel, and I don't know why people pile up on him because through his lyrics we have already known that he is dysfunctional. He's a dysfunctional, traumatized individual. And his anti-Israel sentiments are nothing else but a mirror of his own emotional brokenness. Nothing to do with Israel. It's about his own, his own inner goings on, and he's just directing it at a target. And Israel is a pretty easy target. I don't condone his behavior, but I think that piling up on him instead of trying to help him is a mistake. And I'm going to read to you the lyrics of Comfortably Numb, which he wrote. Came out in the 70s. These lyrics are from genius.com. And let's hear them, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, here goes. Hello? Is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Come on now. I hear that you are feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain and get you on your feet again. Relax. I need some information first. Just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? There is no pain. You are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain. You would not understand. This is not how I am. I have become comfortably numb. So, he knows how to express himself, and to me it clearly shows that Roger Waters' opinions of Israel are expressed through that artistic sieve of his own personal traumas, and shouldn't be taken at face value. His jabs at Israel should actually be taken as a compliment, because he's looking for help from us, because he believes we are valuable, and he looks at us as if Israel were his parent. And once Roger Waters resolves his traumas, and I hope he does it in this lifetime, he'll understand that there's no one to blame but himself for his behavior. It actually applies to all of us. It's a resolving your traumas is a process of growing up, and he's still hurt. He's he's still a hurt child on the inside, and I think he's looking up to Israel like a parent he wants to blame, but a parent who wants to have love for him. Um, Resolving traumas, and not, I wouldn't say blaming, but taking responsibility for our lives eventually is applies it applies to everybody, and it applies to communities and as well as countries. And the resolution of traumas may not be easy, but I believe it's an integral part of our way towards peace, personal and on a community level. And who's better at trauma resolution than the Jews? I got a real emotional kick in the stomach this week when a friend of mine, Sylvia Shapiro, died. I helped Sylvia edit and publish 8 books that she wrote when she was in her 80s. 8 books in about 2.5 years, 3 years. The books were written under the pseudonym Sophie Goodman, and you can find them on Amazon. You get to know someone really well when you work on their life story. We had very deep conversations about this whole thing called life and the meaning of existing as a human being on this plane of consciousness. We talked a lot, and at her place, when I came over, and she would serve me, something to drink, and always some junk food, actually, but it was good. That junk food is definitely a part of trauma, or trying to resolve it, and we bonded and found a kindred spirit on the issue of childhood trauma and how to overcome them. She was a social worker, and so she knew a lot about that, but she had her own traumas that she had hard time overcoming. She helped me a lot through tight situations, especially working on her texts, and realizing that living in the moment is the best way to overcome past traumas and avoid future ones. We create traumas when we are not living in the moment. And so, rip Sylvia. Anyway, if you like this podcast, why don't you hit the like button, comment, and or share, and definitely subscribe. You might wish to tell all your friends about the best new podcast in the world, and then mention this one too. Please, thank you. On to another subject. I recently watched Fran Lebowitz, Yuval Noah Harari, and Ian Bremmer on Bill Maher's Overtime. First, I'd just like to say that I found Fran Lebowitz to be very cynical and disrespectful of the people of Arizona. And those who watch the segment will understand what I'm saying. Ian Bremmer didn't have anything real smart to say in that specific segment. I kind of feel he's like a vanilla ice cream of politics. Anyways, Yuval Noah Harari was trying to make a point, which I think was wrong. Not that he was trying to make a point, but the point was he was trying to make was wrong, and the point was about the Ten Commandments. Harari, whom I really respect, he's really educated and self-taught, I believe, quoted parts from the Ten Commandments, like I am the Lord your God, and said that because of that, there's no amendment mechanism. That is, it's a law and you can't break it, and that's all there is. So whoever follows the Bible is actually someone who cannot change or cannot interpret it any other way. At least that's what I was getting from that what he was saying. He also made the assumption that in the 10th commandment, there is also an endorsement of slavery, quoting, you shall not covet your neighbor's field or house or slaves. Now, I found it strange that with all the knowledge he has accumulated throughout his research, and it's a lot. I mean, he wrote books, big books about his research. I found it strange that he thinks, or at least makes the argument, that the Bible is to be taken literally. At least he might not feel like it is, but when he spoke about it, that's what I was getting. And I want to talk about slavery in the biblical sense, and that at least in some esoteric interpretations of the scriptures, one of which is by Charles Fillmore, which I like going through, that slavery isn't the slavery of one man to another human master, one human, it can be a man or a woman or a child, that slavery isn't the subjugation of one person to another person. In the Bible, it's not. If you take it literally, yes, and that's wrong. But in some esoteric interpretations, slavery. Here are some examples. Slavery is a slavery to ignorance and error, slavery to the human monkey mind, slavery to excessive thought that relates to the realm of form, slavery to thinking in ways that do not contribute to realizing your visions, slavery to substance rather than to living as a free spirit, the slavery to darkness rather than being in the joy of light. So if you take the Bible literally, yes, you can get into that predicament of believing that, but but for instance, the slavery of the Israelites in Egypt is a parable for explaining the slavery of the higher ideals of the human mind to the narrow world of form. A slave, at least what I believe is spoken of in the Bible, is an idea or thought that burdens me and prohibits me from living my authentic self. A slave is when my own authority is ignorance, rather than me being in command of my mental faculty. It happens often. I'm not um, a guru or someone who is so enlightened as to think that I am totally in control of my mind. We kind of touched on that on the at the beginning of the podcast. But I do believe that slavery to the dark side is the slavery that is talked about in the Bible. But you can also be a slave to the idea of goodness. You can be a workaholic. You can be too nice to a fault. In the Bible, there's a context to it, like Abdiel, but the main idea is that a slave is a slave, nevertheless, and in order for slavery to have a positive impact in the world, it has to be done with love for oneself first, a selfless service. A slave is someone who lives with you in the same household, but it is not your family, and therefore can be removed by choice. This is my interpretation. So not coveting your neighbor's slave is really a good advice. It is really good advice. Don't covet your neighbor's ignorant ideas. By the way, your neighbor is really yourself, but that's for another episode. This week in history, let's see what happened years ago on our planet. October 26th, 1863. By the way, right, today is October 29th, 2024. Okay, October 26th, 1863. International conference begins in Geneva, aimed at improving medical conditions on battlefields. Beginning of the Red Cross. We all know how that ended up. Okay, October 26th, 2019. A raid by U.S. Special Forces kills ISIS founder Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in Syria. Apparently he died like a dog. October 27th, 1982. China announces its population has reached 1 billion plus people. October 28th, 1492. Christopher Columbus sights Cuba and claims it for Spain under the name Juana. I believe he first wanted to call Cuba Gefilte Fish Island. Jonas Salk was born October 28th, 1914. He developed one of the first successful polio vaccines. He died in 1995. October 29th, 539 BC, King Cyrus the Great of Persia marches into Babylon, freeing Jewish captives and allowing them to return home. If Ali Khamenei is listening, here's an idea for you. October 30th, 1917, the British government gives final approval to the Balfour Declaration that proclaims support for a Jewish state in Palestine, renamed Israel. October 31st, 1541, Michelangelo finishes painting the Last Judgment in the Sistine Chapel, Vatican City. It was a back-breaking job. Couldn't help but saying that. Okay, October 31st, 1917. Here's an interesting one. In World War One, in the Battle of Beersheba in southern Palestine, now Israel, the last successful cavalry range in history, performed by the 4th Australian Light Horse Brigade, overrunning the Ottoman Empire. So we do have to thank the Australians for something. Okay, now that was this week in history, and let's go to current times. As I watched, YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube. I enjoyed, about 12 years ago, I took my TV and just threw it out on the street and never looked back. Tesla recently revealed its newest generation of humanoid robots called Optimus. I believe it's Gen 3. In 2022, which seems like ages ago, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, said that he thinks that Optimus has the potential to be more significant than Tesla's vehicle business over time. This is from the Wikipedia page of Optimus. And Musk also claimed that Optimus will eventually be able to do anything that humans don't want to do. And last year, in December 2023, which also feels like ages ago, because so many things have happened, Musk on his X page, previously Twitter, we can actually call it TweetX, there you go, just solves that problem. He released a video titled Optimus, in which it shows that the generation 2 of Optimus. He showed it walking and showing new features such as poaching an egg. So I've been thinking, and other people who know me that know how dangerous that can be. With all this AI stuff happening and the robotics, and couldn't we just create chickenoid robots that lay eggs that have already been poached? Chickenoid robots that lay poached eggs. Why go through all the trouble of cooking? I don't. I'm not crazy about cooking myself, but although I like eating, cooking isn't my favorite part of the meal. And better yet, we can just build a robot into which you put in like an all-purpose powder containing all the required nutrients for a human being or pets, doesn't matter. Then you push a button next to your favorite dish on a digital menu and have that dish served to you. Not an original idea, but it's been around, and maybe we should put it on The Simpsons, and maybe that'll make it happen. And another thing about AI, I've been thinking again, as you see. I wanted to say that AI is interesting, and I'm not saying it's dangerous, not in the way that a lot of people think that it's going to, robots are going to take over the world and enslave humans. But I think that if we as humanity end up depending on AI to come up with information and data and things like that, like with ChatGPT and similar technologies, then AI will become a closed circuit. And won't we then stop having new ideas? If that happens, eventually AI will have to AI will have to cannibalize itself, because it'll be a closed circuit, because no new ideas will be pumped into it. And I'll make a little kind of a metaphor. When you mix all color paints, when you mix all the different color paints into one vat, eventually it all turns into one color, usually a bland color. And even if you separate those colors back again, we will just end up where we started from. So if we only get ideas from Chat GPT or any AI, doesn't matter, any AI technology, we will lose our capacity to think up new ideas. And if we stop learning how to do that, who will inject new ideas into the pool of intelligence? Who will step outside the circuit and inject new thoughts? And here's another thought that I had, that AI is like being conscious all the time. If we don't get some sleep, we won't be able to tap into our subconscious and draw new ideas from it. And then art will also become artificial. Creating art, if you don't step outside what you know, what you're conscious of, if you don't expand your mind, it will be like rearranging the furniture at home. Poached egg for thought. Anyway, here's a parting joke from rd.com. It's a Reader's Digest. Did you hear about the two people who stole a calendar? They each got 6 months. Aren't you glad you stayed until the end to for this? I didn't say it was going to be easy. Well, thank you very much for hanging in there, and I want to thank the Tel Aviv Beit Shidur Harishon for allowing me to use their wonderful studio, the wonderful people here. So, okay, well, that's it. I don't know how to say goodbye in a podcast. How do you say goodbye in a podcast? Have a nice rest of day, and see you in the next one. This is Yaron from the Kova Temple podcast, signing off for today.